with me starting like almost a decade ago, they were really, really ruthless. Like if you did not answer the phone with Yemaseyo, like the native Korean language, they would literally hang up on you.
The myth is she just stalling so she could charge you. No, I'm trying to keep your hair on your head.
If I have to turn my head like this to read your packaging, I'm not gonna buy it.
When you come in, stop coming in and telling us how much to sell our stuff for.
Everyone says their hair is 4C because they're affiliated with difficulty.
The U.S. has terrible regulations for cosmetics. Black women historically have these issues with fibroids and uterine problems, and we're trusting you, and now you're putting chemicals in it?
We decided to create a show that would give consumers that behind the scenes of what Black-owned beauty supply store owners go through, what Black-owned brands, Black-owned salons go through, to have a conversation with experts in the field, helping Black entrepreneurs break into the beauty supply industry. Let's jump into the world of Black beauty. I'm your host, Janice Frederick Spell, the retail genius, and I'm here with my guests, Vernice and Gabby. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So I'm guilty of one thing, and it is the fact that I go to social media now before I even talk to my hairstylist. I'm ashamed to say that, but I want to talk a little bit about social media's impact on hairstylists and hair salons.
Yeah, so I feel it's been a great thing, but at the same time it's been kind of negative as well, because it placed a lot of unrealistic expectations on, especially service time. Oh my goodness. Service time, they see a minute on Instagram, a minute, 30 minutes, minute and 30 seconds. And in their minds, it's only supposed to take that long. And that's, they're just like, how sweet, And on top of that, filters, right?
Oh, yes.
Dealing with color, like.
That's tough.
When people come in, it's like, that's a filter. It's not that perfect. I can't do that because that doesn't exist in real life.
Right.
Dang. So it's like managing those expectations as well.
For me, it's everyone's the professional now. It's the person that, I always thought I could do this, recording themselves in their kitchen or in their bathroom, and now they are the professional. They will come to us as a stylist and tell us what someone on social media said, and so we're trying to break that down and reprogram and re-educate, and it really requires us to use more of our educational background, because now we have to, it's not just our work that, I can do this. It's okay, well, you can do it. How are you doing it? What are you using? What's the grade? And then they're coming with us with all kind of research questions, like the breakdown of the ingredients. And so social media, it's the level of the professionals. Everyone is a professional now. Even with terminology, it's like
the YouTube stylists,
the YouTube, what they call it, YouTube University.
YouTube
University, yes.
Yeah, and I think for me with the YouTube University, because I come from both worlds, I understand both sides of the fence very well, right? YouTube, when YouTube first started out with natural hair period, right? Our goal was not to tell people what to do with our hair. Our goal was to show what is possible, right? And people took that and ran with it. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, like we get a lot of flack. Like when I'm around hairstylists or teaching whatever, I always make the joke like I'm one of the ones y'all hated. Y'all couldn't stand it, okay? And I understand why now, right?
Yeah.
But on the same token, y'all wasn't showing up. Like,
that's true.
People only had somebody like me who at the time was not licensed, or any other YouTuber. We were the only sources of information because hairstylists weren't showing up. They weren't showing up on camera. They weren't showing up to correct and give the correct education. And the ones that were, because I have a close friend of mine who was one of the YouTubers who's actually a hairstylist, and she said she actually got a lot of flack for that. It's like the game is sold, not told. Why are you getting on the internet?
Right, and I was going to bring that up.
Why are you getting on the internet giving all
when you
secrets?
do go to the hair salons, they're not really taking the time out, in my experience anyway, to like really educate you on what's going on. So a lot of times I do leave and I go to YouTube to figure out, okay, like how do I maintain this and what should I use, what products do I need to use? And so I do find myself Googling quite a bit after the style is done, and I always wonder, is it because they want me to just come back and have them maintain it? That's why they're not really spending the time on educating me on what I need to do?
That's exactly what it is. There is this fear that if you don't, like, if I teach you to do this, you won't come back to me. But that's not true. you didn't want to do your hair to begin with.
Right.
That's why. That's why you tagged on.
And stylists don't even realize the amount of profit that they are losing out just not by educating their client.
That's true.
Absolutely.
You can retail products through educating your client. I find that when we are educating our clients, that makes them want to come back times 10.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because they're getting the education that they, like you said, stylists are not talking about. But I think with social media, it also gave our clients a voice.
Yes.
Because we have the clients all the time that will tell us that they like their hair and they don't. And then we find out through it, whether it's an Instagram post, a Facebook post, and we're like, what? So it's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So I think with social media, it actually gave our clients a voice. So we really were able to, okay, well, this is what they really want. This is what they're looking for. If for some styles that only did relaxers, to learn how to do natural hair, because their client was now on social media researching, vlogging, blogging about concerns that they had about their natural hair, and that they was getting the support from the community versus their own hairstylist. So I think that is one of the major influences with social media on our industry.
Yeah.
So you mentioned we mentioned quite a few cons, one pro. What other pros have you seen with social media and the impact on hair care industry?
Exposure.
Definitely.
I do feel like it's much easier to build a clientele nowadays because of the exposure. But at the same time, there is another side to that. In my instance, right? In my case, because of the amount of followers that I have, I started finding out that people were coming to me just because they wanted to be on my page. Right? It wasn't like a genuine client. It was like, ooh, I'm gonna go sit in her chair so I can be on her page.
That's kind of pricey.
Yeah, right. But I found out they were doing this because I had like a few people DM me. I was like, why didn't you post me? I'm like, why do you care? It's my page. I'm gonna say that again. No, it's fine. You paid. It's paid. I gave a service. It's cool. So you do have to watch out for that. Then you have the people who go to hairstylists who have influencers, which isn't a bad thing, but some of them do use it the wrong way. It's just like, oh, this person might be a friend of mine. She's going to give me, more clients and everything, but their service is not up to par. Right? It's just like you're popular because of this person, but when they actually go in to get the experience, it's not matching up to
what they're doing
on the internet.
That's correct. Yeah, I agree with that.
So it's a lot of nuances.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned the one thing about posting, because on the flip side, what I've seen is people in the service industry, whether it's hairstylists or makeup artists, requesting that the client post who did their hair, who did their makeup, tag. It's like improper etiquette to not tag the person who did your hair and your makeup. How do you guys feel about that?
I feel like they don't have to do that because they pay for the service.
Right.
Also, everyone wants to be Insta famous. So like you said, they're coming to you because they want that limelight. They want to be in the limelight. They want to share their video. Again, and they also that's part of the experience that they feel that is a part of her service. Like, oh, I'm going to sit in her chair. Oh, she's going to have the camera on me. She's going to talk about my hair. So it's this instant gratification of just wanting to be worldwide, wanting the world to see who you are. The level of importance before is, oh, you get $5 off. Now is no, can I post you on my page? And that level of importance, they'll take you posting them on their social media versus a gratuity, not a gratuity, but like a discount or some type of customer appreciation. In that way, they feel more appreciated when you are showcasing them on your platform, especially when you have a following. So I think it's a pro and a con, the exposure, but then it's like you said, are you truly a client, or are you coming here to do the most so we can be on camera?
Right. Because there's no way to tell, right? Until after the service or whatever. Yeah, there's no way to tell initially. All you can do is put it out there. And actually, and being completely honest, that was one of the reasons that I even went up on my prices. When I caught on to it, I was like, yeah, no, this isn't happening like this.
Right.
Like, you want to test it out? Okay, that's fine, but there's pros and cons, so there's a lot of pros and cons to it.
So how many followers do you have on social media?
About 128,000.
Wow. How did you grow it so large?
To be honest with you, educating. When I first got, when I was making my transition from being a hairstylist, from a YouTuber to being a hairstylist, I had 40,000, in the early days of Instagram, but I actually made it a point to educate people on the page about a lot of misconceptions about natural hair, because everybody thinks oh, I go natural, I have hair down my back. And then when it wasn't happening, because of the misconceptions with YouTube, I made it a point to start educating the people on what it actually is like to have this hair.
Absolutely. So you were doing what other hairstylists don't want to do, basically.
Basically.
So, Vernice, when you were talking about people want to be Insta famous, and we do live in the world of wanting to be famous, how do you feel about social media influencers and their impact on the hair care industry?
There's pros and cons. I feel that with social media influencers, they tend to, our customers tend to look at them as the professional, and not knowing that they are just a part of the industry. They may be more so on trend, what's the hottest look coming out, or product or flat iron that you're using, versus the actual education. So then the stylist actually gets put in the back, kind of like on the back burner, not getting the credit. And the influencer is showing one style this day, and then they may be using another product, so it kind of coincides. It does not coincide, because it kind of causes confusion. So now you're looking at the influencer, they're on this wave, the next quarter they're on another wave, and then we as a stylist have to explain how this lady went from red to blonde, and she didn't get there in one day. So things like that, with the impact that they have as influencer, it could kind of make conflicts between the actual stylist and the influencer, if it kind of coincides, because they're more so, they have the influence, where our clients are not listening so much to the education, because they're so much more influenced by what someone may be saying that's not correct.
Yeah, I 100% agree with her. At one point there was this big uproar because an influencer came out and said that she was using shampoo, and it was a big uproar, right? It's you lied to us. You said you were using shampoo. We haven't been using shampoo. Why would you do this? It's okay, relax. First of all, secondly, like she said, they take it as law, honestly, because the whole idea is, if I use this product, and I hate hair type, and I'm going to just say it before I say this next part. If I use this product, let's say this person has 3C hair, and I have maybe 4B, 4A, 4A, whatever you want to call it, my hair's going to look like them, right? So no matter what we say, we don't know what we're talking about, because we saw what they were doing, and my hair is supposed to look like that. I actually had a client who recently just shared with me that she went natural because she pulled up the picture, and she said, I wanted my hair to look like her. And I said, you do realize your hair will never look like hers, right? But she was serious. She was like, what? I said, no, I said, oh, you're serious? She's like, yeah. I was like, it's never going to happen. You don't have that type of hair. And she was like, you just changed my life. Because she genuinely, she's like, I've been spending thousands of dollars on products trying to get my hair to look like this person, not knowing that it will never look like this person. So they have a very huge impact on the perception of hair.
That's interesting. And so what I'm hearing is the misinformation across social media. So what is the number one thing that you've probably seen or heard in terms of just the worst information out on social media?
You don't have to shampoo your hair. You could just rinse it and use conditioner.
You don't have to trim it if you're natural.
Oh, you don't have to trim if you're natural.
Blow dryers are the devil. They burn your hair. What else? Deep conditioning until you blue in the face with no other kind of treatments. What else?
I feel like
we all have curly hair. I was that client. I was that customer looking at YouTube, combed the whole set of locks out, thinking I had this nice bouncy curly hair. I'm like, yes, a whole set of locks. And I'm like, I have that hair, because the misconceptions that we all around that era, when YouTube and the natural hair industry started to really become popular, everyone's vlogging. I thought that we all had curly hair because I was like, oh, I'm gonna put, like you said, put this product on there and my hair. No, I have straight kinky 4C hair, and a product is not gonna make my curls more defined. It's gonna really shrink me up. So it's just the misconception and the wide impact that it does have, not even knowing how important it is.
To really accept your hair for what it is,
That part.
and not what you want someone else's. Not that you want it to be someone else's. So that's also a very huge misconception. I even have clients that I'm reluctant to post. And the reason being is because I don't want you to walk in there and ask me for that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I have something to say, because what happens, you have stylists on social media that will only post a particular curl pattern, a specific style, and then so they our clients see it repeatedly over and over again. So then they're coming into the salon expecting that their hair is going to look like this, when, like you said, it doesn't. It's the texture. And then they'll go to someone's page, and I'm like, you have to realize that they're posting the same texture, same type of, to get the same results. Yep. So that's the misconception as well, that everyone thinks that we specialize in locks. When you twist the locks, it's going to have that sweat look, slick back look with your retwist. And no, it doesn't. If you have kinky hair, then it's gonna look healthy, but it's not gonna look wet and slick back. Right. Yeah. And I want to add, with the whole number system, the 3A, 3C, that came along with social media.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a big so that's a major misconception, is that that's like a true terminology in the cosmetology world. It is not.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not at all.
And I don't think most viewers know that. So why don't you say that again?
It's not. It is not the common. It is not standard to call our hair, our different textures, 3A or 3B.
By numbers and letters.
By numbers and letters. No, we have curly hair, we have straight hair, we have coily hair, and then we have wavy hair.
We
and
go
then
by fabric, not numbers.
Not
numbers.
By
fabric.
What do you mean by fabric?
Meaning the fabric of the hair, because you could have, let's say you could have hair that looks kinky, but it could actually be fine, but it doesn't look like it because it's shrunken, right? So it looks like it's way thicker than what it actually is. Whereas you could have really loose hair, classified as 3C hair, and it's actually fine too, but you straighten it, it doesn't do anything. It's just flat, Or you could have somebody who has really dense hair, right, classified as 4C, right? You flat iron it out, and it's way more than you thought it was. So it's like the fabric of the hair itself we take into consideration, and not just the look.
Gotcha. So you spoke a little bit about the products and the brands, and I'm wondering, do you feel like the brands have an obligation to do more education on the different textures and curl patterns?
I don't know if I feel that way.
I feel when it comes to their promotional material,
that's what I'm speaking to, like the fact that they'll have these images up and people will look at a particular brand or product and want to buy it because of what they see.
Because of what they see.
But that's intentional, though.
Like, it is intentional.
Because it's a catch-22, right? Most people who see 4C hair, I hate it.
But we just
most people who see 4C hair, right? If you put somebody on your label that has 4C hair, they don't want to buy it. But if you put somebody on there that has looser texture, they want to buy it.
They want to buy it.
It's
wow.
Yeah, it's a mind thing. You can see it on social media. You post somebody with kinkier hair, it doesn't get as many likes. You post somebody with loose hair, it gets a lot of likes. So the brands are really just going off of what they see.
Wow.
And that's a people thing.
So what do we have to do as a people to circumvent that?
Get out of slavery. I'm just playing.
Listen.
Well, I think it starts with our own beauty supply stores, and just having a more structure. Yeah. There are products for 4C hair. There are products for your 3A, your 2A. I believe just educating the consumers more, and even on your product, just saying what texture that is best recommended for, instead of putting our hair in the same box. Our hair is not the same. So where you have other cultures, they would say they have straight hair, they would say they have curly hair, they would say they have wavy hair, but when it comes to us, we just look at our hair as one texture. So I think just giving us the same, just in the same category, we all have different textures of hair, and then that different products required to be used.
So we just recently found out there was like controversy around the relaxer boxes, and the young girls on the relaxer boxes didn't actually have relaxer in their hair. Their hair was actually just straightened.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that?
Absolutely cheated, lied to.
Childhood trauma.
Yeah, childhood
Right.
trauma. So, sitting in front fans.
Okay.
while we let
All
the
of that.
relaxer burn.
Yes.
Spraying oil sheen to stop the burn. It was all
Thinking
unnecessary.
Thinking that once we relax our hair, it's going to be all nice and bouncy and long. No.
Because they were like our Instagram girls.
Yes,
they
they
were.
were.
They
They were the
Instagram girls. It
representation.
was like, I put this relaxer in, my hair's going to look just like hers. And then finding out they never had relaxers, it was like, wow. You know, y'all just, everything, nothing's real. You know,
Absolutely.
like, it's crazy. And we, as a whole generation of people who knew exactly who those girls were.
Right.
And we aspired to look like them.
them.
And the whole time it was false advertisement. You know, it's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
So what would you tell someone to do before trying something new on social media? Because obviously back then it was what we saw on the boxes, but now we have these images like we've been talking about. What would be some of the things that you would say to someone that wants to try something that they see on social media?
I would say have a consultation with a skilled stylist and whatever it is that you're trying to do. So, for example, if you're trying to do you see locks on social media, you know, you would consult Vernice. If you're trying to see color, I could tell you whether it's realistic or not. If you're trying to get extensions, I could tell you, you know, whether it's realistic or not. You know, go to somebody who actually specializes in what that thing is and have a consultation with them to even see if you have the type of hair that that can achieve it. So like one of the things that is kind of a nuance for me is with doing extensions, I do a lot of textured extensions. There's this misconception that if you come and get these extensions, right, your life is going to be so much easier because you're finally going to get this big curly hair look. But when they actually come in, I tell them, if you can't handle the hair on your head, you're asking me to put more in. You know, you have to leave here. I'm not going home with you. So I need you to rethink this, right? And I mean, I try to do it with integrity because, just being honest, extensions is one of my highest high price services, right? But I also want you to get what you're coming here for. And if you can't handle that's on your head, you're going to go home and try to detangle this and make it worse. So, but that misconception comes from social media. And not having a consultation with somebody who specializes in whatever it is that you're trying to get done.
And just do your research so when you are seeking a professional going for your consultation, that you have some insight. So the stylists themselves is just not telling you anything. So I find that clients that come with questions, come with some background research, however they Googled it, or reputable resources that are online, I find that they have a better understanding once they leave their consultation on how to move forward. Because they may come in, like you said, thinking that they're going to get this one hairstyle, and when they have all the background information, like, oh, well, it will require more time for me to do this service. It will require more product. Is that something that I can even afford? Can I come on a monthly basis for you to touch my extensions of maintenance? So it's the research and just being honest with if you can even withstand that service.
Well, thank you, ladies, for this conversation. Thank you guys for watching.
The Convo, your home for conversations on Black entrepreneurship and wealth, available on your favorite platforms.